Hello friends, welcome to Math Opera. Myself Salil Gadgil. There are some misconceptions in students when it comes to opening up of brackets. In this video, we are going to clear these misconceptions. So the mistakes in opening up the brackets are of three types. In the first type, students don't tend to honor the numbers while opening up the brackets. So if you see 5 into 3x plus 4y, there is a bracket for 3x plus 4y and that whole thing is multiplied by 5. What that would mean is when you open up the brackets, this 5 has to be multiplied with both the terms, right? So 5 into 3x is going to be 15x and 5 into 4y is going to be 20y. So the first mistake that students tend to do is they only tend to multiply this 5 with 3, which gives them 15x, but they don't multiply this 5 with 4. So that's a mistake. When you open up the brackets, you have to multiply the term which is outside the bracket with both the terms, because the bracket basically means the operation has to be performed for all the terms within the bracket. It is like an inclusion symbol in mathematics. What is the difference between this problem and this problem shown on the board? Over here 3x plus 4y is enclosed within a bracket. Here you don't see that bracket, which basically means in this case 5 is getting multiplied only with 3x and therefore the answer would be 15x. And now since there is no bracket over here, 5 need not be multiplied with 4y. So 4y remains plus 4y. So there is a very big difference between the first problem and the second problem shown over here, and the difference lies because of the brackets, right? Now let's take a look at this particular problem. Minus 8 times 2x minus 4y. When you open up the brackets, always remember the technique, which is signs, constants and variables, right? So let's understand what this particular technique is. Now when you open up these brackets, the first thing that you should evaluate is the sign of the number. Now since there is a bracket for 2x minus 4y, it basically means the whole of 2x minus 4y is getting multiplied with minus 8. So let's evaluate the sign first. A minus multiplied with a plus. So 2x, the sign of 2x is positive. So minus into plus is minus. So we have evaluated the sign first. Then let's evaluate the constant. 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. So that's your constant part. And then find out the variable. So you have the variable as x over here, right? Now the mistake that students do is they ignore this minus 8 or they ignore the minus sign when it comes to opening up the next term. So what they will do is plus into minus is a minus and 8 into 4y. So 8 4s are 32 and then you have the variable y. So what is the mistake here? They have ignored calculating the sign of the term. So minus into minus should actually make it a plus, right? So the answer would be minus 16x plus 32y. So the second mistake that I have seen happen is they tend to ignore the signs while opening up the brackets. To make sure that you don't make that mistake, always use this rule. When you open up brackets, always evaluate the sign first, the constant next and the variables at the end, and that will ensure that you make no mistakes. What is the difference between the third problem, the one which I am showing you right now, and this problem? The difference again lies in the brackets, right? So over here 2x minus 4y does not have a bracket. Here it does have a bracket. So what this means is this minus 8 is getting multiplied only with 2x and not with minus 4y. So minus 8 into 2x would become, again let's use this rule, minus into plus minus, 8 2s are 16x minus 4y. The minus 4y stays as is, right? So signs, constants and variables is a very powerful technique when it comes to evaluating expressions. The third mistake here is 8x plus 7y, the whole half, right? Now what students tend to do is, they tend to cancel this 2 with this 8. Because 8 is divisible by 2, they tend to cancel this 8 with 2 and write it as, so 8x divided by 2 is 4x, and they write the 7y as is. Okay. So now let's understand what the mistake is. When I have half multiplied with 8x plus 7y, what it essentially means is, this number half is getting multiplied with all the terms inside the bracket, which is why you have a bracket written over here. So 8x plus 7y enclosed within a bracket means the operation needs to be performed for all the terms. So the half is not just getting applied with 8x, it also has to apply to 7y. So half of 8x is 4x, this is okay. But this 7y should also be multiplied with half, and therefore you should ideally have 7y divided by 2 or 3.5 times y. So when you have fractions outside the bracket and you are trying to open up the bracket, you have to apply those fractions to all the terms within the bracket. So just to summarize, when you open up the brackets, always make sure that the term outside the bracket is multiplied with all the terms inside the bracket. Second, always make use of the rule sign constants and variables. This is not a rule, this is rather a technique, and it will help you avoid any mistakes. The third rule or the third guideline is, when you have fractions outside the bracket, make sure that you apply that fraction to all the terms within the bracket and then simplify the expression. Now in the next segment, let's solve a few problems with all these guidelines. So let us solve a few problems using the guidelines that we just discussed. Minus 5 bracket 2x minus y. So let's apply signs, constants, variables guideline. Minus into plus, minus 5 2s are 10, followed by the variable which is x. Minus into minus, plus 5 into y, 5y, and the answer is minus 10x plus 5y. Let's solve the second problem. Again, signs, constants, variables. Minus into plus, minus 3 into 3, 9, x. Minus into plus, minus 3 into 2, 6, y. Minus into minus, plus 3 5s are 15, z, followed by the variable which is z in this case. So the answer is minus 9x minus 6y plus 15z. Let's take a look at the third problem. 6x minus 9y, the whole 1/3, right? So this 1/3 is going to apply to each term inside the bracket. So 6x, 1/3 of 6x is going to be 2x, and 1/3, so plus into minus, minus 1/3 of 9 is 3y. So the answer is 2x minus 3y. Now suppose there was some number over here which was, say, not divisible by 3. Just for example, assume that the problem was 1/3 of 6x minus 5y. So 1/3 of 6x is 2x minus 1/3 of 5. So 1/3 of 5 is simply 5 by 3. You cannot simplify 5 and 3, right? So 1/3 of 5y is simply 5y divided by 3. So the answer is 2x minus 5y by 3. Okay, let's take a look at this problem. Again, signs, constants, variables. So plus into plus, plus 4 2s are 8, and then the variable is x into y. So the variable is going to be xy, right? So x into y is are the two variables. There are two variables here which are x and y. Plus into minus, minus 4 5s are 20, x into z, xz. So the answer is 8xy minus 20xz. Let's take a look at the last problem. Minus 3x by 2, the whole multiplied by 2 minus 8z. So again, let's apply the concept of signs, constants and variables. Minus into plus, minus 3 by 2 times 2. So 3 by 2 times 2, let's calculate it separately. 3 by 2 times 2, 2 to cancel, so it is going to be 3, and the variable is going to be x. Minus into minus, plus. Now let's evaluate 3 by 2 into 8. So 3 by 2 into 8 is the constant. 8 cancels by 2 4 times. So 3 4s are 12 and the variable is going to be x into z, which is xz. So I hope that with all these examples you have understood these guidelines and that you will avoid making all these mistakes. Science constants variables is a very powerful technique or is a very powerful guideline. If you use it properly, you will avoid making all these mistakes while opening up the brackets. I hope that these misconceptions are really clear in this video. So I hope today's topic was interesting and was of good use to you. In the next video, I'll come up with a new idea, a new concept. Do like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel and stay connected for more updates. Till then, goodbye.